type of coarse material that would be purified. Today, they use crushed marble made into sand. Now, the stones are very important because they symbolize different attributes of the deities. In this particular one we have here, it is all about the Compassion Buddha and healing. And what they create is a heavenly palace all around him. Most of the monks have been in monasteries since around the age of 7. Once an individual has decided to dedicate themselves to a life of Buddhism, they will spend the next 24 years at the monastery. They would have learned the actual art of painting the mandala in the first instance. To actually make the sand mandala takes about 5 years of training because it is very precise art. Tapping sand out of these copper funnels into the intricate geometric designs. This is a good time to pause and give a little history about these particular Buddhist monks. First of all, they are Tibetan, but most of them were not born in Tibet. They were born in India and live in what is today Mundgod, India.
Mao revived China's old imperial ambitions to impose its sovereignty on Tibet. He was not concerned by historical realities, or that the country had been governed for centuries by the Dalai Lamas. The first phase of the Maoist initiative was simple: to force the Tibetan authorities to admit that the Chinese forces marching upon their country were not an army of conquerors, but an army of liberation from Western imperialism. The Chinese army continued its progress towards Lhasa in a peaceful march that the Chinese news broadcast to their people. It was with more curiosity than animosity that the Tibetan population, isolated from the world for centuries, watched the arrival of these strange invaders posing as liberators.
这是个荒凉的地方，人民解放军在走向拉萨的途上种树，在挖开的每一个坑里都撒下了树木的种子，将来这里将变成一片美丽的树林。
The prayers that the monks perform are to do with invoking the presence of the Compassion Buddha, known as Shenrizi, or something I can't pronounce, and inviting the healing power to enter the center of the mandala. And then throughout, when they are actually performing, creating the mandala, they are meditating on that same thought. And for those people watching, every grain of sand will give one blessing. This form of Buddhism is about developing your mind's potential, a way of transforming the mind. So the person who is using this in meditation would imagine themselves as the Compassion Buddha in the center, and they would try to break down the barriers of their normal deluded life into the pure, enlightened mind of the Buddha. The very important Buddhist belief is the impermanence. They don't believe that death is just the end. It's just a passing phase. It's our essence that carries on, but also that you shouldn't be attached to anything. So the idea of the destruction of the sand mandala is really putting it to bed, if you like. We return to the elements, and so too the sand mandala is returned to the elements. One of the Buddhist monks who's been speaking English for several years from the Gaden Shartse monastery, Lobsang Yeshe, had a few parting words about the key element that everyone should take from Buddhism.
Most important is probably not to harm others. So like that we can do, okay? So that might be difficult to help each and everybody, but it's like very easy not to harm a single person. So that would be good. If you are not harming others, then you are already doing your spiritual path.